Hey guys, Roman Sliders here with a new episode of Player's Perspective, the interview series where I talk to fellow YouTubers and find out a little bit about them. Standing by with me is a guy who can tell you all about Japanese manga and anime. From his latest releases and news, this man from down under even calls himself Doctor, so you know he's an authority. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Dazza. Dazza, how are you?
Genki desu. That's Japanese for I'm alright. So, there we go.
You are an anime reviewer on YouTube. Your main
Yes.
channel is Fighting for Nippon. Which, Nippon.
Yes.
Um,
Everyone gets that wrong. It's okay. It's okay.
Thanks for setting me straight. And
Everyone else.
and you started that in July 2010, and you mainly do reviews of shows like recent shows like Akanahana, Attack on Titan, Suisei no Gantia, and you also have another related channel called the DoctorDazza, which was released a few years earlier in 2008, where you mainly do news and impressions. You're currently doing an impression series on Gorotua-san. So, Gorotua-san, yes. Thanks again for it can be a bit difficult, these pronunciations.
I've had training, so
Yeah. It's always interesting to see like when they sort of do a localization in English, what that will turn into.
There's sometimes they're just so bad. I was watching something the other day, and I could hear the names be pronounced so incorrectly, and it was just grinding my gears. It was what was it? It was a Sentai release of something. I don't know. It wasn't worth remembering. No, it was Infinite Stratos. God, that dub was terrible. Oh. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. So when watching your videos and your reviews and such, you clearly have a great passion for anime and in general Japanese pop culture. So
Yes.
what got you into all of this?
Well, when I was younger, of course, I used to watch anime, but not knowing it was anime, like Card Captors, Pokemon, Sailor Moon, all that kind of stuff in the morning. It wasn't until around 13, 14 in high school where all my friends, we got back into Dragon Ball Z, mainly because it's Dragon Ball Z and it's awesome.
Yeah.
So we bought, all of us bought at least one season of the orange box sets. I don't think over in England you guys got them, because you're English, aren't you?
Yes. I mean,
Yes.
UK, yeah.
Yeah, like the accent. The Funimation box sets, they're about like a brick, and yeah, the dub, and it was a widescreen release. But we all got at least one season of that, and we borrowed it between each other. So then I was just like, I want to watch more of these shows, this kind of stuff. I want to watch more. I still want to see what more stuff there is. So instead I got into slice of life shows like K-On! And from there I just spiraled downwards into despair of hopelessness and loneliness and nights where I just sit around watching anime forever. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. Do you prefer that generally to Western cartoons? Would you say?
I wouldn't say that I prefer over Western cartoons. Anime just seems a bit more deeper, more broader. There's a lot more out there. Like, if you look at Western cartoons, you look at stuff like, you either get the comedies like Family Guy, Simpsons, Futurama, or you get kids shows like Adventure Time, which people hate me for saying Adventure Time's a kids show. It's a kids show.
Yeah.
Or Avatar, or My Little Pony. They're all kids shows, and they're all kiddie themed. I mean, My Little Pony is good, so is Adventure Time, but they're still kid themed. I prefer a lot more complex and deep stuff. And with the medium anime, you get the complex and deep stuff with good animation, as well as sort of artistic stuff that you don't normally get in live action. Like the show Bakemonogatari. You will never ever get anything like that in live action, not even Japanese live action, because it's just so out there and so weird. But it's great. It's so much fun, and you just don't get that in American cartoons or live action. So that's why.
Cool. Now, you have going back to your YouTube channels, you have two channels which are dedicated to anime and manga. So, what is sort of the main difference between your main channel, Fighting for Nippon, and the DoctorDazza?
Well, the DoctorDazza was actually a channel I set up just to put random stuff on. It wasn't anything. I actually used to use it for AMVs back in the day.
Yeah.
I used to make AMVs and put them up there. They were terrible, but you can still find them. If not on the channel, I've taken them down now, but you can find them if you look hard enough on the internet in places. But I just use that just to put up random stuff. It wasn't actually focused on anime at all, and nor is it really still focused on anime. It's just my life is mostly around anime and Japanese pop culture, so that's why it's mostly like that. Fine for Nippon, on the other hand, was set up because I used to blog on a blog, like a WordPress blog, on a blog called Fine for Nippon. And I was like, I could make this, but in video form. And then thus I did it on Fine for Nippon, and thus here I am today.
Nice. So you transitioned from writing and blogging to sort of vlogging about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I went my first video was because I never actually wanted to do episode reviews of stuff, like weekly episode reviews. Normal reviews, yes, but not episode reviews. I made a video on Bakuman episode 1 when that came out, and that got 20,000 views within like a weekend. And now little old me, who had never had more than 100 views on a video ever, was like, what is this? What's going on? And it got like top when YouTube used to have charts. It got top of I think it was animation, and I just got so many views, and I'm just like, oh, this is amazing. I want to do more of these, and so I kept doing it and haven't stopped.
Very much, I suppose, trial and error on YouTube when you're sort of figuring out what you want to do, and depending if other people like it. And I suppose when you find like sort of the magic formula, as it were, it encourages you to do more. It's funny.
I'm always of the thought that it's always trial and error. No matter what you do, it's always trial and error. You should always at least try something new to see if it works. Like with my first impressions for the latest season, I did it a different way than what I do normally, just to sort of trial and see if it worked. And people seemed very receptive for it. Audience retention was up. People seemed to like it or hate it, depending on the show I was doing. And my reviews every week, I'm going to try something different, and with every video I try and do something different. Like in my video I'm actually editing at the moment for my Attack on Titan, I'm going to do a little skit thing. And if that works, like I think it's good, I'm going to put it in the video. If I don't think it's good, it's going to get cut very quickly. So I always think trial and error is always good to keep going and doing. Like, I get very bored watching those like really big YouTubers and do the exact same thing every video. It gets really boring very fast. So I always like to try something different and just change it up. That's just me.
Yeah, well, I guess with the bigger YouTubers, once they have like that following, that core following, as it were, they always are pretty confident that the same people are going to keep coming back week after week or day after day.
Yeah, but I get bored of it, so.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's always good.
I mean, it's like watching Annoying Orange. It's just the same exact thing every time with like the same jokes and stuff like that. I just get bored. I want to see something different, but with the same cast of characters. But obviously, that's just me.
Yeah, I do often get the feeling that a lot of there's so much. Everyone wants to be a comedy star on YouTube. Something around it matter, and it's like if you watch it enough of it, you're thinking it all bleeds into one, and you're thinking I've seen this like 1,000 times over.
Yeah, I mean it works. It gets some views, but I don't personally like it. And I think I also subscribe to the thought that if you don't like what you're making, you shouldn't be making it.
Yeah,
you should always have fun.
Yeah, well, that's I think the first and foremost thing that even if you only have a couple of people watching the stuff, as long as you're entertaining yourself first of all, then I think that's a good place to start with and a good mindset to be in.
Yeah, I mean, you should always have at least some kind of quality. Don't just go out there and be like, hey, here is my really crappy 240p camera that I've upscaled to 1080p and my really bad audio where you can't hear what I'm saying. And I'm over there somewhere where I'm talking to the camera the entire video. Yeah, that's great. No, you shouldn't do that. You should at least have some sort of quality. But you should also like what you put up.
So. Yeah.
That's not me saying, oh, go out and buy an expensive camera. No,
No.
just learn a few things. I mean, you can use that 240p camera and make something amazing with it. I mean, I did that once. I've used my my iPhone 3G camera, I think it was. I've made a skit video. It wasn't a great skit video, but I still made it and I loved it. That was back when I was 15, but still, that's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Make stuff you like with what you got, and then grow bigger, and people will come, and you'll get all the high fives.
Mm-hmm. So you're now currently an anime reviewer, but what were you doing previously before you got into YouTube as such?
I was in high school.
Yeah.
I did high school. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I would transition from high school to making videos on YouTube.
Yeah, that's the intended career path.
Everyone aspires to be a YouTube person.
Yeah, of course.
No, you should never do that. You make no money whatsoever. It's not livable.
But was that very much something you wanted to do when you were in high school? Did you like saying, "Oh, if I had the time, I'd like to make videos on YouTube," or was it a case of you left and you decided, "Oh, YouTube seems pretty cool. I'll do that now"?
Well, no, actually, I started my year 12, which is the last year of high school in Australia, making vlogs every day. I was going to make a vlog every day saying about, oh, this is my end of my days because it's the end of high school, it's the end of my life. That got very boring very quickly. And my friends around school didn't like the fact that I had a video camera with me everywhere. But I'd always liked YouTube and I always wanted to make YouTube content, but I couldn't really find something that I wanted to make that I was so passionate about. So when I stumbled across a certain YouTuber and saw his videos, and they were very bad because at the time I was doing media studies and I continued to do media studies. I saw they were very bad and I was just like, I can do better than this. And so I did. And yeah.
So you did.
Yeah, I actually started doing YouTube videos during my year 12 exams. I should have been studying. I wasn't studying. Making videos on YouTube. Hence why I'm not a journalist. I'm doing media studies.
Yeah. If I started trying to do YouTube when I was in high school, there'd be no way I could get away with it. I was always bogged down with too much work.
Yeah, I think it's how, like, when you start off, it takes a while, especially with the editing process. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's too hard to actually make the videos per se. Of course, that's me sitting in front of a camera. Yeah. Doing actual proper making videos like skit based or anything like that, that's a lot harder. But the editing process is probably the most hardest part, and it's the most it's the most biggest curve you have to get through, because you should always edit no matter what. I don't like putting up a video of just me straight talking. I don't think it's good. And my cat's needing me at the moment. Hello, cat.
I've got a cat who looks very much like that.
Yeah, she's so cute.
Got the same markings.
Yeah. But no, editing is always something that you should do no matter what. I think that it's one of the biggest things that people don't do, and that's their biggest failings, I think. I mean, there are certain people that can get away with not editing, but I think editing is a big thing which you should do, in my opinion.
Yeah, you often see, I often think, if people do sort of let's plays of video games, then that's obviously the easiest, I suppose, in terms of production to make, because there's very little, minimal editing, if any editing required. But, I think the more structured you want something to be, then the more crucial editing becomes, I think.
Well, it's not only that. It's, if you want it structured, you have to edit. There's just no way about that. But the ums, the ahs, every time you don't talk, the fact that you don't put music behind stuff, that should all be edited in. Whether that's vlogs, whether that's gaming, whatsoever. I mean, there's people out there that go, gaming is the most hardest thing to make videos about. It's not. I did gaming. I've done gaming. The only problem with gaming is the fact that the raw files are about 4 gigs for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, they eat up the hard drives. Yeah, so now you're also part of two anime-related podcasts. You do the Aniverse podcasts with
Yes.
Yokorama and Pepper Tam, and also the manga pod with Yokorama, Happily Aaron, who's been on the show, and Dodger. So how did you first off, find out about them and how they liked, how they had similar interests to you, and what did you think of doing them?
Well, I'll go with the Universe podcast because that started first. The Universe podcast started up because when I first started making videos, Yokoyama got in contact with me and said, "Hey, you do good videos. I enjoy them. We should talk sometime." So we talked on Skype and we became friends. And then I met Pepper Ham through him because back then we used to sit on these Skype sessions for like hours at a time just talking about random anime. I mean, anime community people still do that, but I'm just not a part of those people groups for certain reasons. And then in I think it was January last year, not this year, last year, we started doing the Universe podcast because we just thought it would be fun, it'd be interesting. And then due to reasons, we stopped it because of time zones was the biggest reason. And which was annoying because we were having a lot of fun doing it. So then, when was it? Then in September last year, David, the head of the game station, was doing...
David Severs.
Yes, he was doing an AMA on Reddit about YouTube. And at the time, I was having a lot of problems with YouTube due to copyright infringement stuff and just plain ads and just bull crap like that. Because they're like, you seem to not have the rights to this. And I'm just like, well, actually, I do. Here's a piece of paper from my anime company saying that I do have the rights. And they're like, we don't believe you. No ads, delete video. I'm just like, so then I was like, I said to David, it's just like a question on the AMA. I was like, hey, you're part of the game station. How do you do anime-related stuff? Or do you have contracts? And are you very supportive? And he's just like, apply and see what happens. Firstly, he said, this is my wife's channel. And his wife happened to be Erin.
Yes, I read that AMA, and yes, I saw he only mentioned that, yeah.
And so I was like, she seems cool. I'm going to subscribe to her because she makes anime videos as well. And then so she subbed back, and then I followed her on Twitter. She followed me back, and we started chatting through Twitter. And then we started chatting on. Then I was like, hey, have you got Skype? Let's talk on Skype. So then we talked on Skype, and I was like, hey, you want to be part of the Aniverse podcast? We're going to do like our first live episode, which was in December, or was it November? It was late November, early December. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was towards the end of last year. I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was one of those two.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, yeah, I'd love to do that. It sounds like so much fun. So then she did that, and then around February, so that's how I got to know her. Around February, I think it was February if I recall, or was it January? I think maybe January. I can't remember now.
I think maybe February, because she mentioned that when I interviewed her that she was planning on making one, or making the manga pod. So I think it was like a few weeks after that.
Yeah. She Skyped me and said, "Hey, you want to do this with me and Dodger?" And I'm just like, yes, of course I do. What do you think I'm going to say? No. So yeah, that happened, and then we started that up, and it's been fun since. That's how I met Dodger.
And so how do you mentioned time zones making it difficult with the Aniverse podcast? How does it work out with you and the manga pod?
It used to be a problem because we didn't do it live. We didn't do the Aniverse live back then. We only did it through Skype. And it wasn't just myself and Yokoyama Pippenham. It was actually a friend of ours at the time, Buzz85, who was also part of it. But she lived in the UK, so there was 3 time zones to go against. And it was very hard because all 3 of us in 2 different times, all 4 of us in 3 different time zones, it's just not fun to schedule around, considering I was up most of the time at like 2 a.m. while we were doing them. It's not fun.
Yeah, whenever.
So,
No,
go
sorry,
on.
go on, go on.
Right. So now it's easier because Aniverse and Mangappa are and all at the same time, just different days, which is actually just midday here, so that's fine for me. Makes sense. So
Yeah, it's often quite difficult with time zones. Like if I'm trying to arrange an interview with someone who's on the West Coast in the US, then that's like an 8-hour time difference between here and there, and so we really have to like plan that. Like it usually has to be on the weekend because the weekdays don't work. Because so the evening for them will be like 3 o'clock in the morning for me, and I'd be like really tired.
See, I don't really have a problem staying up really late or getting up at random times. I don't have a problem with that. It's just everyone else seemed to.
Yeah.
I'm just like, why? Why do you have a problem with this? It's not like you have to do anything the next day.
Yeah. Yeah, I can sort of, I have a limit. I can get up to 2 o'clock, and anything past that, I start to lose my concentration. I need bed now. I need rest.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
As long as I've got coffee in my system, I'm good.
Yeah.
Very.
Caffeine keeps you going. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So when you get contacted by someone or you reach out to someone and they're receptive to that, I suppose that must be a very rewarding feeling for you, because that can lead to collaborations like those podcasts. So
yeah.
how does that feel for you?
I'm just happy people talk to me, to be honest. It's always weird when I'm on a random video that someone's made, like that's got like 50 views, and I just write a comment and they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's you!" I'm just like, "Me? Who's me? I'm not pop. It's me." It's weird. So when I reach out to say like Aaron, it's a little bit awkward at first, at least for me, because I'm not very good at the social interaction side of everything. And I get really awkward, and it's just like, is she going to be okay? I don't know how she is with things. I don't know what she's like. Oh, he, she, I'm just using Aaron as an example here. And but when they're like, "Oh yeah, hi, I've been meaning to talk to you. You seem cool," and I'm just like, "Oh, they like me." And then from then it just like blends into, it's Aaron, or it's Yokorama, or it's Dodger. And it's still really weird when people are like, "Oh my gosh, you know this person?" I'm just like, "Yeah, it's them. Who cares?
They're just
they're
people
friends."
like you and me.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's something that like I've met like voice actors in anime, like really famous ones, like Crispin Freeman. I met him at AvCon last year. And he's always been like a big, massive star to me because he's the voice of Kion from Haruhi. He's my favorite voice actor. And getting to meet him was a dream come true. But it was just like, he's just like me. He's like me, because I went to dinner with him and I sat across from him and I had like a really good chat about stuff. And he's just like, yeah, I found it, I was really like awkward when it came. I was really nervous when I was going to come to Australia, because I wasn't really sure what it was going to be like or what you guys were going to be like. And I'm just like, he's just like me. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I suppose it's always a bit of a difficult thing at first when you're trying to break the ice. Yeah. And you feel there's always that couple of moments of awkwardness, because you may have chatted to them online, but you may not have had a direct face-to-face interaction.
Yeah.
And so like you're sort of talking with them, and I suppose you just have to be confident in yourself, while all at the same time thinking, please don't think I'm a weirdo or anything like that.
Yeah, that's something that I think, I mean, I'm really hard at this because I've got anxiety through the roof, but fake it until you make it really does work. If you just fake confidence, no matter what you're doing, you're gonna be fine. They're not gonna care.
No, of course not.
You're just like, I maybe said the wrong thing, when really they don't care that you said the wrong thing.
No, of course not.
I mean, you don't analyze every single situation or thing you talk about ever, do you?
No.
They don't do the exact same thing.
You just have you just have to get on and move on with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you mentioned earlier an anime company, is that right? Do you work for something, and how are you affiliated with them?
I don't work for these companies. Wish I did. I mean, if they want to give me a job, I'm very open to it. No, I have several contacts within the anime industry, at least here in Australia. I've very very strong contacts here in Australia. I've also got some in America and some in Japan as well. Madman is the one I was talking about a bit earlier, because they're on the weekend. I'm actually going to be in a Google Hangout with Crispin Freeman, which is going to be really fun. It's going to be really enjoyable. But I get review copies of shows, and they talk to me, they give me news, and I talk to them about what I think they should be doing, and they're like, oh, that sounds like a good idea, we might implement that. And I'm actually good friends with some of the managers there as well, and I've gone out for a drink with them. That's here in Australia. In America, I know Crunchyroll. I know the CEO of Crunchyroll. He Facebooks me all the time. I don't know why sometimes, but he does. He's pretty cool. And then over in Japan, I've had interesting times with Japan. One, they like taking down my videos. But other than that, I've spoken to Shaft, who made Madoka Magica. Not really Shaft, more their marketing committee, because I actually went viral with one of my videos of one of their shows, and they wanted to take me over to Japan to use me as promotional material. But I was A, underage, B, had no money, so I couldn't do it. But yeah, I have some contacts through that. Not that I really talk to them much anymore, but yeah, that's a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so you're really well connected, it seems. You know all these people in the business.
Yeah, it's fun. It's good. it's like people at reply me on Twitter saying all these new stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, I knew about that like a month ago. I just can't say anything.
Yeah. So, I was looking at a new anime recently, and quite recently I found a subbed version of Evangelion 3.0, which is the rebuilding of the Neon Genesis Evangelion series.
Yes.
And if that's regarded as a very classic anime, and it got me thinking, what are some of your favorite animes from time gone by?
Evangelion, definitely. I just watched the Blu-ray version of 3.33 today.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. Oh, I wouldn't say great is actually the right word for it. It was a thing. But I know it's really hard to define anime gone by, because one of my favorite show of all time is The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. But that was made in 2006. That was like 7 years ago now. That could be regarded as a classic. Saying with Death Note, that it's so weird to think they're classics when you think of classic, you think of the 4x3 really crudely animated Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon and stuff, which Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, what's the other one? Card Captors.
Or something like Street Fighter 2V, something like that.
I've actually seen that. There's a lot of shows in the 90s I haven't seen, which is really quite bad on my part. Because they don't look as good as they do now. But of course there are shows that do stand the test of time. But yeah, my favourites from the era would have to be Evangelion, definitely up there, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor, Sakura. What's another classic one I've got recently that was really good? I don't remember. Oh, there's one show from the early 2000s called Onigai Teacher, which not many people know about. It was really good. I think people should give that a watch. Yeah.
It's interesting in the case of Neon Genesis Evangelion. Once they finish this current run, that anime is going to have 3 different endings overall, I think.
But yeah,
because there's the original 90s one, and then and then the end of Evangelion, and then this new one, whatever it will be, and yeah.
That's sort of like, is Rebuild a remake, or is it a sequel to Evangelion and a loop? Oh, that's a question. We of course don't know, and Haruki Anno likes to troll us, so
yeah. Let's hope everyone actually likes the ending this time, because clearly they thought it was too confusing. People thought it was too confusing the first 2 times around.
What? The whole psychoanalysis,
Yeah, the whole,
and then the whole congratulations at the end wasn't straightforward. I got it.
which looked like it was directed by David Lynch. Yeah.
I love Evangelion just for its weirdness, which probably isn't a good thing artistically. But
yeah. So, aside from anime and manga and such, do you have any other interests or hobbies that you like to do during the day?
I like making videos. That's a hobby.
Yeah.
It just seems to center around anime. I like to say yes, but not really. I spend all my time watching anime, then reviewing it. I've got to work. I like playing Pokemon. That's the thing I like doing. That's fun. But yeah, I like reading as well. So that's about that. And sometimes going out with friends, depending on my mood.
Yeah, I mean, you've got you.
Yeah,
sorry, go on. No, go on.
I was just about to say I'm lame like that. That's all.
Well, you're clearly building up a following on YouTube, so people are, invested in what you like doing, and as long as you can show that you genuinely have passions, that's the most important thing, I think. Okay, so do you have any future projects along the way, that Dr. Dazza has?
Future projects. I have a few things that I've got going. Like, I've got like a top 10 thing that I'm gonna maybe do in the future. Like, I've got everything ready to do it. It's just I've got to do it, and I haven't really had time to do it, if that makes sense. I also want to do more scripted stuff because I really like doing scripted stuff, and I want to get into the whole kind of skit based around anime kind of thing. That's what I really want to do. And then I actually had at one stage a TV show in the works for my local TV station, but that didn't work out. It may didn't work out because there isn't that many people into anime that is also able to do this kind of production stuff, which is really sad. Or they're not free enough to do it, which again is sad. But oh well. One day I would like to have a TV show based around anime, but the thing is with the internet, I don't really care as long as people are watching. If that makes sense?
Yeah, I suppose with the internet, you have access to a larger audience, a potential audience, than you could from TV.
That's exactly it. Like, I've got more views on YouTube than my whole city does in population. That's mental crazy. But TV is interesting because people are like, oh, you're on TV, you must be like super made, and just like, not really. Some of these TV shows are just sets with a camera in front of them. Well, a set in front of a camera that's in a house randomly with decent acoustics. That's all it is. You could do that on the internet for cheaper because you won't have to do those stupid tape things. Tapes. So,
this is a question I ask everyone who comes on here to do one of these interviews, and that is, if someone were to come to you and say, Dazza, like a video game developer, and said, Dazza, you can create any video game you want, what would it be and why?
Haha, video game. It would be a time traveling game, of course. I love time travel stuff, where you repeat not the same level, but the same type of level, but it's changed each time.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to go through it. Kind of like Back to the Future, The Girl Who Went Through Time. It's an anime series. The 10th episode of Madoka Magica. Something like that. Kind of like repetitious, but with time travel elements and different storyline and interweaving storyline or something like that. Probably something like that. It would be a handheld game as well.
A cool
handheld game. Handheld games are much better because you can take them anywhere. Not like a mobile game, but like on a DS or
a 3DS or Vita. Cool.
Well, the DS probably because it's got more of a market share.
So, Dazza, what do you have to say to all the fans who've been following you so far throughout your YouTube career?
Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you still watching me? I don't get it. Tell me why you do this. I love you, but why?
That's great. So, Dazza, where can we find you on the internet?
Well, on the internet, you can find me at Flying Fnippon on YouTube, as well as the Dr. Dazza. You can also find me at Dr. Dazza on the Twitter things, and you can also find me on Facebook, Flying Fnippon, and on my website / Tumblr / put up random crap blog at flyingfnippon.com.
Nice. Well, Dazza, it's been really a great pleasure to have you on to do this interview.
Yay! Thank you for having me.